Hey, what's up, cousins? It's your girl Aviera here with Nor Online, and today we have the honor and privilege to interview an actor who is making moves on his own terms. He has won plenty of awards, and he's also here to talk to us about his upcoming show, Jonathan's World. Cousins, let's give a huge welcome to Tyler D. Lambert. Hi.
Hey, how are you? How are you holding up?
I'm all right. How are you today?
I'm doing well. God is good. I truly can't complain. Staying safe, keeping my head above water. And yeah, just truly can't complain.
I feel you on that. Today is Friday. It's the first of the month. Do you have any plans tonight? Are you going to hit the scene? Are you going out? Or are you just staying in and working?
Well, I mean, it's April Fool's Day. So, I mean, it's just one of
Right.
those things. I'm like, well, joke's on you today. So what you going to do today? I'm just going to literally just enjoy my time with my family, kick
Yes.
it and just watch some films and just be grateful for just God giving us another day and just being grateful for the little things and just having fun with family. 'Cause that's really like
Yes.
all it's about for me right now. Yeah, just throughout the global pandemic, just being with the family that I have. Yeah, just being safe.
Yeah, I feel you. I wouldn't go out today on April Fool's either. People are crazy.
I mean, so yeah, definitely having fun.
So before we get into Jonathan's World, understand that you're alumni of the New York Film Academy. So can you give us any insight or takeaways of you attending there? Maybe one of our cousins that are watching this may want to attend as well. So can you give them a little inside scoop of what was your experience like going there?
Oh yes, definitely. So I went to NIFA in the program acting for film that was in school over in New York City because they have a variety of different programs in different
Okay.
locations. And my experience was definitely blissful. It was just amazing for all the things that I've learned outside of acting with directing and then producing and film writing. So I'll tell anybody who's an upcoming storyteller, content creator, or actor that film school is great because you get that hands-on experience that you may not get with starting off with peers. So it puts you into that circle of people where you got to surround yourself with those like-minded individuals that will keep you motivated and driven to be able to reach that super objective on where you want to go. So my experience was absolutely just incredible because I was able to meet the right group of people that was able to keep me inspired and just to keep going. And as I just was able to believe in myself and create better opportunities, NIFA was just a place for me to really just simply discover myself and know all the things that I want to do. And I would tell any upcoming actor that, hey, film school is great. If you want to go, you don't have to go to film school to become successful, but it's definitely a place to go to get with like-minded people that will definitely get those creative juices flowing. And that's what it did with me. It definitely helped me flush it out. I was very creative before I went to film school, but it was able just to put me on that set rubric and that set training every single day with those teachers and instructors to just pull, that next level out of you for that growth. So it was really great of an experience with hands-on acting for film. And yeah, it was great.
Yeah, there's absolutely nothing wrong with going out and branching on your own and doing your own thing, but sometimes going to school kind of gives you that leverage. And definitely introduce you to a world that you want to get into. So I definitely understand where you're coming from, and I get what you're saying.
And just like all of just the classes that NIFA just provided, it was really just beneficial for me out of my given circumstances. It's like I look at it as I'm a car, I have an engine, I'm on a journey, I have a destination to go to. And it's just like the fuel that they're able to give you with the classes, it really helps you understand the different gears that you have in order to hit that nitrous button, to get out of that next stage, to move on into the professional field that most people may not, they may stay stagnant. And it definitely got me to the next gear with the classes that they had provided.
Okay. As being a independent filmmaker, how has your journey been so far? I understand, with you being your own boss, it's pretty amazing. It's pretty good. You don't have to report to anybody. You don't have to go back to anybody. But there's also disadvantages of being on your own and being independent. What has your journey been like being an independent filmmaker?
I'm just going to start it off by saying you have success and you have failures as well. So, before I start like applauding the success, I'm going to start off with the failures. Without the failures, it led to my success being an independent filmmaker. So, yes, it was a struggle being able to understand how to get your vision from paper displayed cinematically than being viewed. So it was a lot that I had to go through with understanding the business aspect of acting and entertainment, and then being able to get together a crew full of people to be able to film. So it was definitely a creative journey that I went through. It was a financial journey that I went through, just as well as understanding how movies get made. It's just one of those things where we all dream about making them, but then whenever we sit down into that car seat and we start driving that engine, then we really see all of the roads that it really leads us to success. And then you find yourself on that windy road. So I say being an independent filmmaker is like being on a roller coaster, and you don't know like when it's going to end, but you down for the ride, if you know what I'm saying. So it's definitely been just a blessing. I had a lot of failures, just a lot of failures that happen with just being able to understand how to tell stories, and you'll never get it right on your first try with anything that you do. So I had so many different revisions on scripts on just the premise of just Jonathan's World, just in general. Like, and it's like you think you got something done, and then you sit down and you understand that this is like an onion with so many different layers. And then when you're trying to get to the meats and potatoes of that work, then that's when you start to catch that independency and say, oh, okay, I can do this. So it's just one of those things where, I failed 1,000 times before I was able to reach the success to where I am now. So I'm definitely grateful for that.
Yeah,
And just
because
understanding it.
on the outside looking in, it looks pretty easy. It's like, hey, I can do that. And then once you step in it and you see it for yourself, you're like, whoa, I wasn't expecting all of this. I wasn't prepared for this. All my friends that have their own businesses, they tell me, hey, that first year is hard. It's extremely hard. So I can just imagine like it's a perk, but then it's at the same time, it can be too much.
Definitely. And I can give you a primary like example of my own experiences, the aspect that it opens you up to, from just understanding all of the different skill sets that come with being a filmmaker. It's not just shots, angles, and transitions. It's lighting. It has to do with sound engineering, sound operating, post-production, and then being able to communicate to people on set. You become much more versatile. So that's something that I'm grateful for, is just having that confidence to communicate to anybody, just very, cordially on set, to where you don't overstep people's toes and you don't want to tell people how to do their job, but it's good that you understand. So that way you're not just the actor that's just sitting there. You're the actor who understands everything down to how the camera operator's doing it, how the sound, operators doing their job. And it's just one of those things that it's definitely necessary to take control just of your career, and to be able to understand and then appreciate editors, and then be able to just appreciate how movies get made. It really opens you up to just appreciate everybody more. So when you go on sets, you just have much more of an appreciation for everybody, and to know that this one job that this person's doing, that is a whole career field of its own. So yeah, it's cool.
So on top of being an independent filmmaker and also running your own company, Vibes and Visions Inc., how are you able to balance everything as being a writer, an actor, a producer, etc.? How are you able to do that? Do you take time, let's say 5 minutes of me time? Do you meditate? Do you work out, everything to just kind of, how are you able to balance all of that?
Oh man, it's definitely time management. And it's something that I had to learn literally the hard way, by taking a lot of losses in order to understand what is so important about the things that you do. So like just how I'm able just to get through like a day-to-day basis is working out. Definitely, you got to be able to keep those creative juices flowing, and then work out the body, because I believe that it all goes hand in hand, the mind, body, and spirit. it's all just one thing. And I believe that entertainment is all one job. This whole thing that I do, it's one job. That's how I able to wear all these different hats, because I treat it as one job. And just getting through things on a day-to-day basis. I do take breaks. I take breaks where I just channel in and out, where I'm working, but it don't feel like work. So yeah, it's very difficult, but I can truly say that I love what I do. And I just make sure that I take time out to work out. And yes, I do meditate. And I make sure that I do stay just very spiritual, and I keep my relationship with God first, as he pushes me through to get where I am. Because I can truly say without him, I wouldn't be nowhere where I am today. So
Yes.
yeah.
Because you know, with everything going to maintain and keep everything together, and you know, as long as you're doing something that you love and passionate about, it pretty much comes naturally and easy. But for others, it's really hard. So it's kind of good to have like a good balance, you know, balance everything out, working, playing, you know.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Because being like a one-man army, it's definitely beneficial, but then you do understand of like the simple things in life as well. And that's one thing that I do value a lot, is family. Just being able to take that time out and be with family and understand, okay, well, there's a time and place for all things. There's a time to play in your workflow, and there's a time to take out for family. So that's normally where most of my breaks come in, is just being with my family on the side.
What inspired you or pushed you to start your own production company? What did you see out there in the field that you were like, hey, something is missing? I want to add my flavor or my little spin to it and, you know, showcase my creative side. So what inspired you or pushed you to start your own production company?
Well, every dream, ends with vision. And how I started just vibes and visions in general was just sitting down and saying, okay, I have all these thoughts in my mind that I want to get out. And if your super objective is to be a movie star and to star in movies, how are you going to do that? Just waiting for time to happen. And I do believe that faith without works is dead. And that at some point in time, you have to sell the idea to who you are and the things that you want to do. So how I even got started was I wasn't privileged enough to already be in the industry or know anybody in the industry. I'm from a very small town, small town in Shepherdstown, West Virginia, and I didn't know anybody. So I literally had to start off with saying, okay, well, how are you going to start off acting in movies? Well, you got to start making your movies. So that's where my production company came into play, is because I wasn't going to sit around and wait for a casting agent to say that I have talent. And then Lord knows how long that may take before I can get an opportunity just to be able to showcase my talent. So I said, nah, I'm going to create the opportunity and take control. And then from there on, build off of that. So it was just a matter of me sitting down, understanding the business, and then saying, okay, well, if the main point is to have longevity and you want to do this for the rest of your life, then you better yet invest into your production company. And it's been very beneficial. So yeah, I just got started basically just making my own films and getting inspired by seeing movies. And just my favorite actors aren't just actors, they're also producers as well. And they all have their own film production companies as well. So then whenever I was able to understand that these actors aren't just actors, then it really just grinded my gears to say, okay, well, that's not enough to just dream about being that actor. Now you have to do hands-on and understand more. So you have longevity as opposed to that short spark of success.
I heard your accent and I was like, he has to be somewhere from the South. I'm from Louisiana, so I picked up
Yeah,
on it.
yeah, yeah,
I picked on it quick. I was like, he got to be from somewhere. I don't know where, but he's from somewhere down there with me.
yeah, yeah.
So what was your thought process in creating Jonathan's World? I watched the trailer and I thought it was funny. Okay, I loved it. So I loved it. My favorite character is Jim Lube. Okay, Jim Lube. I like him. I love him. I just love his whole personality. What are any shows that inspired you to create Jonathan's World? Because when I was reading the plot and watching the trailer, I kind of thought of Family Matters, Steve Urkel and his whole situation. So
Yeah.
I just wanted to know, did you have some type of inspiration from that? Was that your inspiration, or what was the thought process in creating Jonathan's World? What place were you coming from?
Well, the place I was coming from was just basically paying homage to all those who came before me. So my biggest inspiration is Eddie Murphy, from seeing all the different characters that he played from those films of Norbit, and just seeing how many characters that he's able to play and how versatile he is in his career. So when it comes to other TV shows, I've just been inspired by shows in the 90s, even from watching Martin Lawrence and seeing the characters that he played on Martin. And then, seeing all of my favorite comedians and how they're able to play characters and then be seen cinematically. So I caught my motivation definitely from Eddie Murphy and Martin Lawrence for sure. Those was two guys that I always looked at as my top Mount Rushmores when it comes to comedy. And then when it comes to the creative process, I just told myself, well, I'm going to create a whole world full of characters that's fictional and that I live in, and I play all the characters that's within that world. And I was also trying to do something that's never been done before in film and TV history, of just saying, okay, well, everybody plays characters as well, but who also can go off and play all these different characters, write it, direct it, and then produce it, and then play all the other worlds in it in our upcoming generation. So my creative process came from a lot of different places, and basically a lot of shows from the 90s as well. I think about from my childhood watching Nickelodeon, watching all that, just so many different things that it came to from the characters that I created. It just influenced me because I'm a 90s baby at heart. And that was something that just influenced me a lot.
I definitely got that while watching the trailer and everything. I felt like a kid again, honestly. Like I felt like I was watching the Disney Channel, and it just brought back a lot of memories. And the first thing I said to myself while watching it is, oh, he's doing something like Martin Lawrence. You know, how he had Shaniqua and he was playing all these other different characters and stuff like that. And so I really enjoyed it. It's good. Okay, I loved it. Thank you. It's amazing.
Well, thank you so much for just liking it. And just like my main thing is just saying, okay, well, let me figure out a way to where I can be able to shine the light to the upcoming generation and to keep the torch rolling. I mean, we had um, um, people like Richard Pryor, down to the Eddie Murphys, down to the Martin Lawrences, down to Kenan Thompson, down to like who's going to keep that torch going? Like, where is it going to keep going and going and going? So that's like my main focus, is just to keep things rolling in just the Black community, and just to let us know that it's still here, it's still in the water, and that, that's just our job as well, to be able to keep it going and then pay homage to those who came before us. So I'm so glad that you like it. It means a lot to me, because these was all the people that had definitely inspired me along my journey as well. So yeah.
So in Jonathan's World, of course, you play many of characters. Is there one character in particular you enjoy playing the most?
Yeah, I would say Jim Lou.
Ah!
Yeah, I would definitely say Jim Lou, because I'm from West Virginia, and there's a lot of lubes that I met in West Virginia. And he's somebody that I definitely pulled from just my own family members and relatives, and just seeing us out in the country in trailers, and just knowing how we get down with the get down out here in West V. Yeah, it's just one of those things to where he's somebody that I didn't met them before. So he was very easy for me to just really display on screen, because there's a lot of history that comes with that character, from just meeting those kinds of people like that. And that's really how I craft all of my characters. It's from just real experiences of people that I've met and saying, oh, wow, this person was a real character. Okay, well, this is how I'm definitely going to add this into my art form. So
There's
everything.
definitely a lot of Jim Blues in Louisiana. I can't tell you that. In my small town, there's a lot of them. Are you in the process of pitching Jonathan's World to a major network? Would you like to see it on a major network, or you just want to keep it the way it is?
100%. I would love to see this on a major network, but the question is, what network would love to pick up this premise of the idea? And what is it geared for, of the target audience that it's for? Because I made sure that just like the premise of the pilot was very versatile and that it was general for all audiences, because I didn't want to sell myself short as a creator. I wanted to make sure that it was open for anybody to be able to pick this thing up. So I would love for my ideas to definitely get picked up to take it further, because I could definitely see the entire season show being ran on with Jonathan's World for sure, because there's so many things that is happening with the characters and the given scenarios to where I was like, okay, well, I don't have the budget to be able to film all this, but I do have enough to put together a great premise for a pilot. So yeah.
So what about you? Would you like to see it on a particular network, or you're just like, whichever network, reaches out to me and it's like, hey, we want to pick up the show, or can you see it on TBS or BET, or, maybe going to Netflix? Is there any network in particular you want the show to go to?
Yeah, like I would love for it to hit Netflix, definitely. But in the Black community of Jonathan's World, I definitely feel like that it gives it a lot of a Disney vibe as well. I definitely think that it gives it the vibe of like more of a Disney Channel or of a Nickelodeon feel. BET, like I said, it would be absolutely incredible, but it all comes down to the target audience for the kind of show. And I do think with the characters, it's more driven for the upcoming kids that would watch it. And I do think that from seeing these shows that it's on Netflix, as I've been watched all these new shows, I think that would be the main focus, would be Netflix. I think it would do a lot of damage for Netflix, but outside of that, I'm just open for grabs. I'm just grateful for any network that would want this.
Yeah, I think it will. Netflix is good, but BT needs a new, fresh, a new show that's pretty much fresh and lighthearted. That's for the kids as well. Their content is pretty much aiming towards adults. So it kind of be nice to have like a show that's not only for adults, but children as well, like a family type of thing. Yeah. So if BET picks it up, hey, BET, if you're listening, hey.
Yeah. Hey, BET, if you here, then I'm here, But yeah, definitely.
So Jonathan World has received awards for the best pilot at the International Black and Diversity Film Awards and Rome Independent Prisma Awards. You also won Best Actor in Comedy and Best Actor of the Future. How does it feel to see your body of work receive so much positive feedback and get acknowledged for great content?
Surreal at first. It felt really surreal because all this was just visions and thoughts that I had in my head of being the future of cinema, and then wanting to step into the roles of my idols. And then when those moments hit, it's like, wow, this is really happening. Oh my goodness. And then I have to sit down and then really think about, okay, so what's next? What else do I have to continue on with my journey? So this was definitely a good spark to keep me going. But it's something that was there just to humble me to continue to keep working. This was just signs and that just says, hey, we're starting to see who you are, so keep working. There's a long road that you're headed on, and I just take these accolades as little nuggets as I'm trying to climb the bigger hill to success.
Besides Jonathan's World, you also have a film, Smith's Way Out. Can you give us insight or any details? Is that also part of your production company, or this is outside your production company?
Yes, ma'am. It is definitely 100% just a part of my production company. And Smith's Way Out is a film that's based off of perspective, and it highlights systematic oppression when it comes to racism and police brutality, systematic injustices that happens within the African American community. So throughout that film, I play a high school senior by the name of Ryan Smith, and he's going through a lot of different obstacles. And on his journey, we get to just go with him. It just as like a day in a life of what it's like to go through as we see all these different obstacles that he's facing, from the passing of his brother's death that's due to gang violence, and then the police coming in, and then people wanting him to go to make these choices, and then getting manipulated into the choices that you make, and then understanding that every choice has consequences to every actions, and just knowing that, hey, these things are still happening, such as police brutality and being stereotyped in just in the community. So it's a film that's based off of perspective, and I really want an audience to just be able to think on it, because I give you a lot of different ways to think of, like, is this person, he may be morally right, but he's wrong legally, or he may look at things just from a different perspective on whose side that you want to take, whether it's the police officer side or whether it's the main protagonist's side. And it's just a film that I just decided to make that really just bring simply awareness to the Black community that these things still happen into today, and that we have to find a better solution to these problems instead of just talking about it. And that's why I love the power of storytelling, because you're able to tell your stories and then be able to bring it to other people's attention. So people can't say, duh, we didn't know about this. No, we've been knowing about this for decades. And it's time that we try to form, conclusions to these things.
It sounds pretty interesting and very deep, and I can't wait to see that. Can you give us, do you know the release date, or when will you be dropping this film?
Yes, definitely next year. Just going into 2023, because the main thing is like, I just want to get Jonathan's World out there, and then have Smith's Way Out coming right after that. So it just gives people that time to be able to really journey with me as well, and then being able to see that versatility of me, because I don't want to just be viewed as just someone who did comedy in Jonathan's World. It's also that film genre is also an action crime thriller. So being able to see me in a different light with different scenario and character given circumstances is also just great for just an audience to be able to view me differently from seeing me playing characters such as Jim Lube, but then they know that, oh, he's way more than just characters as well. He also gets down and he plays serious roles too. And that's why I said for the film to be Jonathan's World, because it's separate from me being Tyler D. Lambert. So Smith's Way Out is more of a Tyler D. Lambert kind of vibe. That's more of the person that I am, and the kind of light that I would want to be seen with doing serious films.
Okay, before we end this interview, there are a couple of questions that I want to ask you that are very fun and interesting.
Okay.
So who is your dream actor you would love to work with?
Denzel Washington.
Okay. As a person who creates music and soundtracks for your own projects, which one do you prefer, R&B or hip hop?
Hip hop.
Really?
90s in particular.
That is the best era of hip hop, is the 90s, in my opinion. What inspired you to become an actor? Was it a film? Was it watching another actor? What made you decide to go in this lane?
Eddie Murphy. After sitting down watching Coming to America, I'll never forget, I was watching the film with my dad in my theater room, and I was like, hey, I want to do that. I really couldn't, I didn't know what it was. I just saw him doing all these different things. And as I got older, I said, oh, okay, this is what I want to do. And I was always somebody who was this just this kid with all this energy on a different frequency. So I knew whenever I was doing theater, just as a young kid, this was something I wanted to do. But it was Eddie, for sure. Eddie.
That's what's up. That's one of my favorite movies of all time. That and Boomerang. Those two.
Yeah.
So I am a top 5 fanatic. So instead of asking you your top 5 rappers, I'm going to ask you your top 5 actors. It can be actors and actresses, whichever one. Who is your top 5?
Okay. So and it doesn't have to be with like genres, just male or female, it doesn't matter.
Male or female. Your top 5.
Great. So I have Denzel Washington, Angela Bassett, Samuel L. Jackson, Eddie Murphy. I'm on 4, correct? And then 5 is Jamie Foxx.
Ooh, that's a dream team right there. Yeah. Before we close, is there anything you would like to let our cousins know beforehand, or anything, new projects, etc.? Is there anything you would like for us to know?
Yes, definitely stay tuned for Jonathan's World, because Jonathan's World is broken up into 2 different series. I have a TV pilot, and then I also have a full-blown season 1 sketch comedy series that's coming as well. So definitely just stay tuned on that, and make sure that you guys can tune in to Vibes and Visions and be able to like and subscribe when we start dropping our content shortly.
Well, it's official. You are a part of the tribe now. You are a cousin. Thank you for taking out your time, to have us interview you and everything. Great job, great work. And we look forward to seeing everything that you have in store for us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a nice day.